Welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Mrinmoy Pramanik. I teach comparative Indian language and literature at the University of Calcutta. Today we'll discuss translation studies, module 27 on the state and translation. What is the relation between the state power and work of translation in particular nation or particular state? We know that after crossing a long path of selection of text, choosing source language and target language, method of translation, publishing house, advertisement, circulation, we get a text translated. It means there are lots of issues, decisions, cultures and politics involved with translation. Translation always appear as tool, medium to develop language, literature, formation of identity, nationalism, colonialism, hegemony and what not. Translation is symbol of power. Translation is tool of power. Translation is intrinsic with human expression, human excellence of creativeness, and translation is one of the most significant medium for the administration, for the state to reshape, redefine the culture. Administration and state has to take translation in one or another way in its daily use, especially in multilingual country like India. Indian nation state initially divided based on the linguistic identity of the people. Language is power of unity and power of division as well in India. Interaction among peoples in India in different sectors, in different ways happen with translation. Growing cosmopolitanism in India necessitates translation in use of everyday communication. Different communities, different identities, different histories, different ethnicities of the people of India only can be understood through translation. Translation is means of communication among the people of Indian nation. Translation holds the development of history of Indian literature, Indian languages and Indian cultures since the time of history people can remember. Many social, ethnic, religious problems in India can be addressed with cultural inclusion of people, and that can be done with translation more adequately. Demand of linguistic state in India is very common political urge of different communities, especially who feel deprived in the system. India needs a translation of speech, content, feelings, small voices of history to address the people of India across the class, caste, religion and ethnicity. It is a challenge to the state power to address the problems lie within the discourse of language, linguistic politics and people's voice in history. Translation appears as one of the most essential steps ahead to establish dialogues among the communities of various identities. Translation and question of power in India is very much interwoven with the question of language. India observed almost 2000 languages in India in 1961 census. A large number of languages were claimed as no citizen language, as those languages had less than 10,000 population. 8th schedule of Indian Constitution recognizes 22 languages only. The selection of languages of importance, not only a mere linguistic issue, but considering a language not much important, is showing ignorance to the community, to the identity, to the culture and history too. And there lies the whole issue of linguistic politics. As Indian states are divided based on the languages, primarily canonization of language is also very much problematic. Modern Indian languages impose power on the small languages of the particular geographic area. In order to maintain smooth administration with one or two languages of majority's access. In the contrary, I do not argue for inclusion of all the existing languages in the official work, which may create a lot of confusions and slowness in the objective. But what can be done is to share the knowledge of the communities and to keep record of the knowledge exist in different languages. Hence, a relation of continuous dialogue should be happened among the languages, and that can be happened only through translation. To maintain the inclusive democracy, India need a culture of sharing each other's knowledge, and translation is inevitable. If we want to understand the linguistic problem of India and the possible role of translation to play to address the problems, role of translation to serve the purpose, we will be able to understand the relation of the state and translation in India. If we see the history of relation of translation and the state or administration or the power of the administrator, we can trace back the history in medieval India. Even in the classical age of Indian literature, we know that in Sanskrit play there are multiple languages used in a particular text. So a particular Sanskrit classical text or like the play by Kalidasa is example of translation. And this kind of text shows the reflection of power. King is speaking in Sanskrit, Brahmin is speaking in Sanskrit, queens, servants, and the masses are speaking in Prakrit language. So a text itself is showing the reflection of the power of the administrator. If we see the history of medieval translation, then we can find that always the administrator had used a work of translation to know the people, to know the land, to know the culture of the dominants. And this is how translation helped them to be more closer to the people whom the administrator actually rules. This is how translation used as tool for expanding power of administration and also a tool for making cultural bridges. In medieval India, we can find translation of Sanskrit into different modern Indian languages. We can find the translation of Arabian and Persian text in the royal court of the Nawabs or Sultans. And this is how the culture and language and beliefs of Nawabs and Sultans expanded among the mass, and they promoted the culture and literary text of the masses also. So this is how in ancient period and in medieval period, the state, not as a state in the modern sense, but the administrator used translation to communicate with the people whom they rule or to know the people. Now, in this module, we will discuss the role of state and role of state in the work of translation and the relation between state and translation. Let us begin this discussion with a quotation that the institutionalization of translation took place in independent India in 1947. As a sovereign nation state, India felt the need to invent foreground and bestow common symbols upon a conglomerate of different linguistic states. The state perceived the need to establish common links among different linguistic communities and create literary awareness of all literatures. Issues of translation in post-independence India are intricately connected with the new identities that emerged in the light of the bifurcation of the Indian landscape along linguistic lines. Issues of language and nation acquired new emphasis and have since then indirectly determined the course of translation activity in India. Rita Kothari commented in her article on recalling English translation in colonial India. With the link of this comment by Rita Kothari, we can go into the translation practice of colonial India, where the British state used translation as power to rule over the Indian native people, and because of that they established so many institutions where they offered courses on in different modern Indian languages along with English and European languages. One side they had translated, or they had made people translated Indian literatures, philosophy, knowledge and history into English, and other side they translated European language, European literature, knowledge, philosophy, history into modern Indian languages. This is how the communication or the encounter between two civilizations happened, one side, and in other side such kind of translation offered a comfortable zone, offered a sense of comfortability to the masses that their ruler are not ignorant towards them. Their rulers are very much sympathizers to them. So this is how the empire was ensured. So translation itself is a political act, and the administration or the state system has direct connection or direct interest in the work of translation, in the culture of translation. In independent India, we can observe that there is very sincere initiative on behalf of the Indian government or Indian state in the work of translation. In 1944, from the Asiatic Society of Bengal, a proposal was given to the government to establish a National Academy of Letters, which was later established as Scythe Academy. Scythe Academy was established to build communication among Indian languages, Indian literatures, because newly born Indian nation had to be imagined, and literature is one of the most powerful medium to imagine the Indian nation. In the About column of Scythe Academy, in the website, they write, the proposal to establish a National Academy of Letters in India had been under the consideration of the British government of the country long before independence. In 1944, the government of India accepted in principle a proposal of the Royal Asiatic Society of Bengal that a National Cultural Trust should be set up to encourage cultural activities in all fields. The trust was to consist of 3 academies, including the Academy of Letters. After freedom, the proposal was pursued by the independent government of India. Abul Kalam Azad, the Union Minister of Education, was of the opinion that if we had waited for the academy to grow up from below, we might have to wait till the Greek calendars. It was felt that there was no alternative to government taking the initiative to set up the academies. The government functioning in the process was to be that of a curtain raiser. The government would set up the academies, but once they were established, it would refrain from exercising any control and leave them to perform their function as autonomous institution. The Scythe Academy was formally inaugurated by the Government of India on 12th March 1954. The Government of India resolution which set forth the constitution of the Academy described it as a national organization to work actively for the development of Indian letters and to set high literary standards, to foster and coordinate literary activities in all the Indian languages and to promote through them all the cultural unity of the country. So along with translating Indian literatures in different Indian languages, Scythe Academy every year holds at least 50 seminars at regional, national and international levels, along with the workshops and literary gatherings, about 300 in number per year. Under various heads like Meet the Author, Sambad, Kabi Sandhi, Katha Sandhi, Loka, the many voices, people and books through My Windows, Mulakat, Asmita, Antaral, Abhishkar, Nari Chetna, Yuba Sahiti, Bal Sahiti, Purvattari, and literary forum meetings. And with all these practices, Scythe Academy actually promotes the consciousness about Indian literature among the Indian people, mainly among the Indian educated classes. And through these projects, through this mission, Scythe Academy also successfully promotes the work of translation, because whole idea of Indian literature only is possible with the work of translation. Scythe Academy promotes the idea of Indian literature, and what they do, they translate it in different Indian languages in one side. Another side, they promote the academic discussion, the critical discourses on Indian literature and culture. This is how, through translation of Indian literature and through discussion, through critical discourses about Indian literature, they promote the idea of Indian literature, the idea of inclusiveness in India among the peoples of India. Academy website further says that it gives 24 hours annually to literary works in the languages it has recognized, and an equal number of hours to literary translations from and into the languages of India, both after a year-long process of scrutiny, discussion and selection. It also gives special awards called Bhasha Samman to significant contribution to the languages not formally recognized by the Academy, as also for contribution to classical and medieval literature. This mission or this practice of Scythe Academy shows that translation is very much significant to them, because translation is not only too significant to a government body or to the publication house merely, but translation is significant for imagining the nation, imagining to understanding the Indianness of Indian culture and Indian literature. And that is why translation prize, translation awards have been offered by Scythe Academy, and it is given to the translators from different languages of India. And not only that, Scythe Academy also does offer awards to the language expert and literary personalities from different languages which are not initially recognized by Scythe Academy. Now, such kind of project of Scythe Academy, which is sponsored by government of India, shows that the interest of the nation state, the interest of the state in the work of translation to ensure the unity of the state, to ensure the communication should be built among the people, among the cultures and among the languages of India, Scythe Academy website further says that it has also system of electing eminent writers as fellows and honorary fellows, and has also established fellowship in the names of Dr. Anand Kumar Shami, Prem Chand, etc. The Academy has launched centers for translation in Bangalore, Ahmedabad, Kolkata and Delhi, and an archive of Indian literature in Delhi. And Scythe Academy, through these centers of translation, they translate literature from those languages which are not recognized by the Constitution, by the 8th schedule of the Constitution. And they took a project of introducing tribal languages and tribal literatures, and through translation of tribal language and literature in different Indian languages, they are keeping record of this language and literature, and they are circulating the knowledge which was there or which is there in tribal and oral tradition of different Indian cultures. And through these centers of translation, Scythe Academy translates literature and oral tradition from Lepcha, from Kokborok, from Missing, from Nepali, from Manipuri, from Nagamis, which from such kind of languages which are not recognized in the 8th schedule of the Constitution. So Scythe Academy is serving those languages also which are not initially taken in the mission of Scythe Academy. Through this process of translating, actually Indian state shows its interest to build communication and bridges among different cultures and literatures of India, as none of the areas, none of the cultures do not feel that they are outskirt, they are outsiders in the Indian nation state. So for making an inclusive democracy, to let Indian people feel that they are Indian, such kind of translation initiatives have been taken and have been institutionalized by the institution like Scythe Academy. And if we observe that few years before, Scythe Academy was a completely autonomous body and it had its own symbol, but now it had the symbol of Government of India with its own symbol. So both the symbols are logos are existing on the website, and such kind of changes on the issues of logo or symbols shows that state wants to take direct control over such kind of institutions, because state has its direct interest in translation to control the cultural imagination of the people and to promote a particular type of cultural imagination and cultural practices. Not only Scythe Academy, there is another institution which is called as National Book Trust, and National Book Trust also established almost simultaneously in 2 years, 2-3 years difference in India. Along with Scythe Academy, National Book Trust also is established, and it was Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's idea that Indian state or Indian government should offer a good quality of books through translation to the people of India, to educate them. And this cluster of books will include books of literature, books of philosophy, books of art, books of history, and other books of knowledge. The National Book Trust India is an apex body established by the Government of India, Department of Higher Education, Ministry of Human Resource Development in the year 1957, just after 3 years of establishment of Scythe Academy. The objectives of the National Book Trust are to produce and encourage the production of good literature in English, Hindi and other Indian languages, and to make such literature available at moderate prices to the public, and to bring out book catalogues, arrange book fairs, exhibitions and seminars, and take all necessary steps to make the people book-minded. They publishes books and translation in different Indian languages, including the tribal languages. And not only that, they prepare braille reading, braille books for the blind readers. So this is how they are trying to build the translation culture as well as reading culture among the Indian new readers, Indian children and Indian adult readers. Not only that, they also promote the books and promote the reading. In NBT website says that NBT plays an important role in promoting books and the habit of reading by organizing book fairs and exhibitions throughout the country since the last 5 decades, as the nodal body for the promotion of books both in India and abroad. Not only that, National Book Trust also offers fund for the study of book publishing in different universities and institutions of India. Like they are collaborating book publishing course in the University of Calcutta to promote the books and the reading culture all over India. National Book Trust also organizes book fairs, and it reaches in different book fairs with their books. It offers a book club membership which gives a good discount in each and every books for the book club members. So this is National Book Trust initiative to build the readership, to promote the reading culture in India. National Book Trust, along with supporting the book fair, supporting the book publishing courses, supporting the promoting the books and supporting the readers, it also offers fund for translating. It also offers fund for publishing the translation, and this is how National Book Trust shows its interest in the work of translation. National Book Trust has very innovative and fruitful project which is called Adan Pradan, and through this project of Adan Pradan, National Book Trust actually offers translation of different knowledge text and literature among Indian languages, and this is how bridges among Indian languages and cultures have been established. So through this study of National Book Trust and Scythe Academy, we can understand that since very beginning of the newly born nation state called India, government or the state has interest to promote book culture, to promote knowledge culture, to promote reading culture among the Indian people one side. In other side, government or nation state has its own interest to promote Indian literature through translation in different Indian languages, as nation can be imagined more strongly and more easier way. This is how state engaged itself very much with the work of translation. But not only with the National Book Trust but Scythe Academy, we can find another initiative in 2005 when Manmohan Singh was Prime Minister, and he proposed an idea of establishing National Translation Mission, and the responsibility was given to Central Institute of Indian Languages to establish National Translation Mission. National Translation Mission, on its website, they talks about the history, objective and aims of the mission, and it says the idea of National Translation Mission or NTM came originally from Dr. Manmohan Singh, the Prime Minister of India. In the first meeting of the National Knowledge Commission, he mentioned how it was vital to access translated materials for increasing access to knowledge in many critical areas and broadening and strengthening people's participation in education and continuous learning. The commission, chaired by Sri Sam Pitroda, took note of the suggestion and felt the immediate need to have a separate institution or mission to promote the cause of translation for education in India. While it is true that translation has been an ongoing process in India, the need for productive public intervention in this key area comes primarily from the unevenness in the translation activity in the country. Unevenness in terms of disciplines as well as language, and also that of quality distribution and access. Translation activities can also generate direct and indirect employment, thus encouraging the educated unemployed to serve the people while finding a remunerative profession for themselves. I unquote. You can get further more information about National Translation Mission from their website. For your convenience, I have mentioned the website link here in the e-content. So the primary objective of National Translation Mission was to produce trained translator for translating translating knowledge text in different Indian languages. Higher education is dominated or restricted or confined in English language, and this is how so many people are afraid of accessing the higher education, and so many people from different classes and different backgrounds are getting more marginalized. So our knowledge text or knowledge should be available in modern Indian languages. Thus the people from different classes and different backgrounds can have access to the knowledge. With this thought of service to the nation, National Translation Mission emerged. one side, and there is another aspect of National Translation Mission also, that it wants to promote a group of translators. It wants to promote trained translator. It wants to offer the method and guideline manual for the translator to have good quality of translation. National Translation Mission actually assumed the growing necessity of translation in India, and this is how the state serves the nation with offering the access to the knowledge to the common people, and with the project of preparing a good number of trained translator. This mission also observes translation as a professional work. This is why they offered 21 days extensive course on translation, and they prepared a trained translator group, and with the end of this coursework, or with the end of this training program, they offers them books for translating in particular Indian language. So through the study of Scythe Academy, National Book Trust and National Translation Mission, we can understand that state tries to understand the nation, the people, the culture, and it also want to offers knowledge access to the people of India across the class, caste, region, language and culture. Whereas Scythe Academy helps to imagine the Indian nation with the translation of Indian literature in different Indian languages. National Book Trust tries to promote translation work with offering the fund, to promote publishing of translation with offering the fund, and they want to promote the readership, they want to promote the book culture all over the India. And in other side, National Translation Mission, which is also another state initiative, tries to build a group, a community of trained translator. Now let us talk something about the censorship, state and the translation. We all know that there is a long tradition. There is a long tradition of state interest of censorship in the field of books. In British India also, so many books were banned. In independent India also, we can find so many books are banned because of some contradictory issues. And among those banned books in independent India, we can find there are so many books which are translation, and those books are banned. But these contradictory issues are actually the issues which have been emerged from the concept and practice of nation state only. The Ramayana, as told by Avere Menon, banned for satirizing the Ramayana. But we know about the Meghnadvat Kavya by Madhusudhan Datta in Bengali, which makes the Rama, who is known as God, this poetry, this kavya makes Rama as demon, but it was not banned. So the whole concept of censorship, whole concept of good, evil in poetic freedom, in artistic freedom, is actually a result of the nation state system, or the result of the power of colonization. It comes from the power of colonization, and that is how on the complaint against the Ramayana, as told by Avre Menon, was banned based on the complaint against it that it satirized the Ramayana. In 1956, the book was banned. In 1969, Ramayana True Reading by Periyar E.V. Ramasyami from Uttar Pradesh, the Hindi version of the book Sachi Ramayana, was banned by the state government in December 1969. The publisher challenged the decision. The publisher challenged the decision in the Allahabad High Court. The court nullified the ban and asked the government to return all copies to the publisher. Later in 2003, we can see that the Lajja, a book by Taslima Nasrin, an autobiography of Taslima Nasrin, is banned for hurting the Muslim sentiments, and the all translation of English translation of Taslima Nasrin, Lajja, also was banned for this purpose, because the original Bengali text was banned. This Bangladeshi author Taslima Nasrin's book, based on the demolition of Babri Masjid in 1993, was banned in India. It is said to have been offensive to Muslims and insulting to Islam. The Maharashtra government banned the second book by historian James Lane on Shivaji, following allegation that it has derogatory references that could pose a law and order problem. Government sources said a notification to ban the book, The Epic of Shivaji, translational and study of Kavindra Paramananda Shivarata, which is banned by the government. And in recent year, in last decade, we can find the book by Moro is banned by the Indian government, that Moro is exploiting the complaint of the government was that Moro is exploiting somebody's privacy for personal commercial gains and money, and then talking of censorship and freedom of expression. He is a perpetrator who is pretending to be a victim. He is worse than devil, quoting scriptures. Congress spokesperson Abhishek Singhvi, who had sent a legal notice to Moro on Gandhi's behalf, told reporters here. The Congress reaction came after Moro publicly accused the party of terrorizing Indian firms to not publish his books, El Saro Rozo, or its English translation, The Red Sari. I quote, "I have written a fictionalized account of a life, but that does not mean it is not truthful." Abhishek Manu Singhvi and his watchdogs and his company are trying to terrorize Indian publishing houses into not publishing my book. They will not succeed is all that I can say, Moro alleged. The Spanish author has stirred a storm with what he claimed to be a fictionalized account of Gandhi's life, but has been described by Congress chiefs lawyers as containing untruths, half-truths, falsehoods and defamatory statements. So as this book was written on Sonia Gandhi and they felt that it is very much derogatory, the book was claimed to be banned. The book was first published in Spanish in October 2008 and has been translated in Italian, French and Dutch. In the book, he refers to her origin in Italy, her marriage to Rajiv Gandhi and the difficult times she went through after his assassination and her entry into politics. So we can understand that there is also interest of nation state in case of book, in case of original book, in case of translation, that the unity, that the democracy and the interest of all the communities, cultures should be maintained, should not be hampered anyway with any kind of messages of any book or any translation. If it happens, then the translation or any book will be censored or may be banned also. And this is how state interfere in the issues of poetic freedom, in translators' freedom and in artistic freedom. So when we discuss about the state and its relationship with the work of translation, we have to take it under consideration. Till now we are talking mostly about the Indian nation state or central government's initiatives on the work of translation and the promotion of translation. But beside this, in India we have several regional academy of letters like Paschim Bongo Bangla Academy, Maharashtra Sahitya Parishad, Tamil Sahitya Parishad, Manipuri Sahitya Parishad. All these academies are there, and these academies actually try to establish and promote their identity, their linguistic identity. They promote and publish books in their own languages and simultaneously they translates also. Not only the translation, but they have their major agenda like the promotion of their own language, to establish different kind of identities through language, and to promotion of books in their own language. But to serve these purposes, these regional academies also contribute to establish to promote the Indian literature, to prepare the history or dictionary of Indian literature, and they promote work of translation among Indian literatures also. As for example, I can talk about Paschim Bongo Bangla Academy, which publishes the translation of Premchand's short stories, which is the largest volume of Premchand's stories translation into Bengali. And not only that, this Bangla Academy organizes poets meet of different languages in Kolkata, and this is how translational relation has been established by such kind of academies. And we can talk about the Konkani Sahitya Parishad and Manipuri Sahitya Parishad. Manipuri Sahitya Parishad claims Manipuri as classical language. It is also their struggle for fighting against all the linguistic hegemony. And Konkani Sahitya Parishad promotes the rich heritage of Konkani languages. This is how translation and relation can be built among Indian languages. And all these state-sponsored academies or institutions are very much engaged with their national identity and subnational identity, and they involves themselves into the work of translation too. Now let us conclude our discussion. Colonial burden of already defined culture, importance of majoritarian democracy, choice of easier path to run the administration, carries the culture of continuous exclusion in the practicing and promoting languages, knowledge and translation. We have yet not taken such initiatives to establish cultural dialogues among different Indian languages in a uniform platform. There are conversations which have been already begun, and that conversation is among Indian languages, but this is scattered, this is not unified, or this is not much tangible in our experience. Gradually, we lost so many languages in India. Many languages are overburdened by the other nearer powerful languages. Many languages are about to be perished. Many are endangered in India because of industrialization, because of deforestation, and because of not having resources to keep alive different languages. And this is how in last 50 years enormous languages in India have been died. And through this death of languages, actually we are losing complete worldview which is holded by each language. According to Ganesh Devi, each language is complete worldview, and with the death of a particular language, we are losing it. We are losing the heritage of knowledge, tradition, culture and worldview. So and with this we are about to lose our great diverse cultural heritage and knowledge. So immediately India needs project of keeping records of language, knowledge and culture by promoting cultural practices in different languages to save the history of people in whatever population they have, instead of gradual marginalization of languages. Only state can take such large initiative, and translation is believed to be most useful medium for this purpose, I suppose. Thank you.